The proverb, charity begins at home, rings true with this community environmentalist who has not travelled far to protect and conserve rivers. Kennedy John Michael has been involved in several conservation projects since 1997. In 2018, he decided to take up a conservation mission in his own backyard, Taman Melawati. This was after he crossed paths with a childhood friend and a former Gombak district engineer, Haji Mansur Abdul Ghani, who shares the same passion. The duo may be as different as chalk and cheese in their approach, but they do not let mismatched personalities get in the way of a bigger goal.
He said, "Oh, you should come and do something in your own backyard." And I said, "Okay." So I bring to bear everything that I've learned. And I said, "Hey, there's an existing program here, but it doesn't seem to be working." So I came early, set up all the tools. I had a plan about what I wanted to achieve. At the end of 2 hours, we had done more in that 2 hours with 20 people than we had in the previous 2 weeks with 40 or 50 people. So when Haji Mansur came back, he said, "Wow, what happened?" And I said, "This is what happens when you have a plan." So I sat down and I started writing the River Tree program. And then I brought it back and I said, "Hey." And he was like, "Wow, let's do it." And yeah, that's how it started.
Kennedy's headmaster approach has earned him the title Big Stick among volunteers, which led to the establishment of the River 3 Association. Spending most of his time in Taman Melawati, Kennedy shared that the park is one where the community can enjoy various activities from planting crops to plucking coconuts.
It is a psychological thing. Clean, nice, inviting trail brings people to the rivers. And so now you start having communities. Oh, I want to fish. Oh, I want to plant food crops. Or I want to plant fruit trees. So the trail then becomes a platform to build communities. If you look around you, we're standing under lots of coconuts. The coconuts fall all over the place. That's money falling from the sky. You know how we know this? Because there's a guy who comes here, he picks the coconuts, and he sells them as fresh coconuts. So there's a source of income.
Kennedy said the success was partly due to the GreduAction program he devised to teach volunteers useful skills that could be applied in other areas to bring about good.
If you walk around here, you don't see a single poster, bunting, banner, because for us, none of that stuff works. It's all the one-to-one engagement. But we were more focused on the action part. There's so many projects that all focus on the talking part, but very little action. So what we do here is we make sure that the volunteers who come pick up a skill, or they learn something about river conservation beyond don't pollute the river. Whether it's taking a hoe to clear grass off the trail, to learn this is how you use the charcoal effectively so that you spend the least amount of energy, so that in 1 hour you can do 30 meters instead of hacking away, and doing only 2 meters. And here we go. Done. After 19 weeks, the absolute last mile. Go for it. This is why rivers got polluted, because we got divorced from the river as our lifeline. We still need it, we just don't see it. So the idea is to bring people back, to marry them. It's not just my work, it's not just her work, this is community. I'm just a man in the street, who is considered an upstart newcomer in this area or field. There are people who've been doing this for decades. And people being recognized in that way, I think is very, very important. So yeah, well, it's great. We're going to use it for whatever it's worth to push the River Tree agenda.